Hey guys, welcome back to DMAC Customs on the YouTube. Dave here in the garage. Little motorcycle tank. This is this week's wee project. Just gonna hopefully not bang into anything. Yeah. Put it on the bench gently. Okay, so got to do a little bit of work on this famous James motorcycle tank. So let's get at it. Okay, so there it is, little famous James motorcycle tank. I can't remember what year it is, 30s or something like that. Belongs to a mate of mine. He likes to collect old weird little motorcycles and stuff that are, you know, old and weird. But yeah, he picked up this bike. He's actually, and he's got it going and stuff now, but he ordered himself some famous James like decals off the internet, and when they came, he realised they were just like die-cut printed stickers, and he kind of wanted something a little bit more authentic to the rest of the bike, you know, not so digital looking. So he gave me the task of painting them on. So I'm going to set about doing that. I'm going to do them a little bit bigger. You know, they sit up here, but these, obviously it's got these knee pads on here. John Bull knee pads out of it. So we're going to make them a little bit bigger. Might have to move this little shifter, get it out of the way so we can work this area. But first up, we'll give it all a bit of a clean and maybe take that shifter off and then figure out how I'm going to do this. Okay, so let's get at it. Get some rags and some wax and grease remover and get into it. Right, I'm just gonna take that little shifter lever off of there. Hopefully I can get it off, get it out of the way. Come off. No, I need to secure the other side. This side's gonna undo. Right, need another, what is it, 1932, crikey, weird size, or go old school. Put that over there, nice and tight. Alright, just give it a good kind of clean, I guess. It's not in the greatest of condition paint wise, so that means I can do not the greatest of paint work on it. No, just joking. I'll try my best to do a neat rendition of this logo. It's going to be quite tricky because some of it's very small and very fine, and I don't even know whether my eyes can go that fine anymore, but we'll give it a shot. If that doesn't work, we can just clean it off and do something else. Flames or something. Dirty. Neil could have cleaned it. Okay, so I scanned those stickers that he gave me and just plucked out the black outline sort of thing using some graphic software, mainly Photoshop I think I used, and then just printed out a couple of sizes sort of slightly bigger than the originals that were supplied. So ideally the bigger the better for ease of doing it, but it's going to be bigger than what they would have been from factory, I imagine, but it'll just make it so much easier for me to actually do it. So I'm thinking, get this, yeah, sort of like that. Okay, the originals kind of, I think, generally sit like that, but we go a little bit bigger, gives me a little bit more scope to do hopefully a better job, because I mean this little lettering here, it's going to be a bit of a struggle to do these fine lines around it for me anyways, so but we might make it a little bit bolder. But yeah, so that decision made, I'm going with the bigger one. Get rid of that one. Next up I need to make a tracing for it, so I'm going to use some Saral paper, which is it's got a coating, you know, white or black, or there's different colours and stuff. I've got some white stuff here that I'm going to use for this, so I'm going to transfer that onto the back of this, and then we'll get that on there, and then we'll draw over the top of it. I'll show you in a sec. There's a bit of Saral paper. Looks like it might already be cut to size. And what I'm going to do, scribble all over the back of that so that it transfers that white stuff onto there. Hopefully got it around the right way. It's hard to see. Hopefully that worked. That's that stuff there. Saral transfer paper. Alright. Yep, that worked. Alright. I've got this tank up here on this thing here, just so I can kind of spin it around and look at it at eye level and shit without tipping it on its side. So grab me some tape. And my logo. First side I'm just going to eyeball, and then I'll take some references off of there for the second side. I reckon about there. Where's my scissors? That should be alright, I think. It looks like it's running downhill a little bit. Like that. And then you take your sharp pencil and just trace over the top of it. That's it. Hopefully that worked. Oh, she's faint, but she is there. Jeez. Ooh, yeah, barely. I might give this another coating of Saral stuff on there, just to see if I can get it a bit stronger on the second one, because now I have to, you know, rinse and repeat and do it on the other side. You can see it's there, but man, she's, mind you, it's night time and it's dark. Approximately the same spot. Okay, so just eyeballed a couple of marks across to here. That's roughly where we want the top of that banner to land. And I've got a wee mark on the other side, my approximate, where I want the logo to end. Just got to get it. I'll just put some more Saral stuff on this. So that's going to go about there. Right there, I reckon. My thing's rolling away. It's cold hands. Alright, so I've just got to transfer that one onto that side, and hopefully that's going to be clear enough when I come back at this on the weekend, or maybe later in the week. Maybe you have to move some lights around and that, hopefully be able to see what I'm doing. But yeah, I'll trace this one on and take it from there. Okay, so that's the other side traced on there. It's actually probably a little bit clearer than side one, strangely enough. Squinting at it. Definitely going to need my spectacles for that. So that's all I'm going to do tonight. It's so cold in here at the moment. Yeah, too cold for hand lettering enamels. It'll go flat and my hands will cramp up and stuff like that. And yeah, last video painted that. Video hasn't come out yet, so I don't know what kind of feedback there is on that, so we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, having a little bit of a breakaway from that, and gonna do this week. And I've got another skate deck to do as well, so they've got to all be prepped up in that yet, so maybe we'll do that all in this video, or maybe that'll be a separate one, don't know. Anyway, we'll leave it a couple of days and hopefully keep it down here when it's a bit warmer and start getting some paint down. I'm not gonna do this wet on wet because it's so fine. I'm bound to have to wipe some stuff back, so I'm gonna lay down sort of different colors and let it dry in between. So it's going to take a few days to do these two little logos, just giving them enough time to go off, so if I make a little boo-boo I can wipe away without trying to navigate other wet paint. So see you in a couple of days, hopefully, maybe tomorrow, I don't know. Hey guys, so next day, and it's a little bit warmer tonight, so I'm going to do the first stage of these famous James logos, hopefully. All going well, and yeah, let's do it. Okay, hang on. Down here, got my spectacles on, so hopefully I'll be able to see what I'm doing. What am I doing? I was doing this kind of banner through here, hopefully in this kind of off-whitish kind of colour. Okay, so that's the first colour down. All up there's 3 or 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 colours to go down. And like I said last night, I'm going to do each colour, let it dry, and then move on to the next one. You know, because especially when I get into some of the finer lettering, I'll have to kind of cut around and stuff like that. It gets a bit tricky. So till tomorrow. See ya. Oh, in case you're wondering, this little jammer here is a 0 AS Hanover Pure Sable chisel rider, and this is a Pure Sable chisel rider, and that's a number 2. And don't forget to oil your brushes. Very important with Pure Sable. Keep it nice and soft. And I use neat's foot oil. I have tried other stuff I've mentioned in other videos before. I've tried other oils and brush oils and stuff, but I think neat's foot oil works better for me. You know, I just like it better. It smells real cool too. And if you've got leather jackets and that, it's good for waterproofing. And it's cheap. So, till we meet again, next colour. Okay, so next day, got to put a bit of gold down. Like on the sticker, it's this tanny kind of colour, but I was looking on the interwebs and there's a couple of pictures of original graphics on these famous James tanks, and it's actually a gold. So we're going to put a gold base down in those areas. I was going to try and kind of cut around the famous lettering and these lines and stuff, but I'm actually just going to paint them in, block them in, then I'll rejig my tracing and put the template back on there, sort of thing. Just because it's going to be easier, I think, in the long run to letter over the top of the gold. I probably should have done it with but yeah, that's alright. But anyway, using some of this Alpha 6, this is the only Alpha 6 colour I've ever used, and it belongs to the owner of the petrol tank. He bought it for some work we did on his Lincoln, 59 Lincoln, and yeah, we've been using it on his little projects ever since. So just finished shaking this up, and then we'll start dropping some of the gold on this tank, you know what I'm saying. Tip a bit of that in there, using the same number 2 AS Hanover. I might need my goggles. There you go. And what have I got to do? I've got to do that. Okay, so that's the gold on. I may let that dry off, and I might second coat the gold because it's really difficult to get it to lay off nicely. Even the cream's a bit transparent, but it might be alright. I always find with the gold metallic enamels, like alkalite enamels and stuff, well, gold, silvers, they're all kind of similar, especially the golds. They're really kind of piss weak as far as coverage and that goes. They don't have like a kind of coloured base with the metallic in there. They have basically, you know, the resins and binders, and then metal flakes basically. And so yeah, I can't get them to cover nicely. I hate pinstriping with them. If I'm pinstriping, yeah, it just ends up like streaky and stuff, and I don't like it. So I did a bike tank a while ago, a Triumph tank, that I had to hand do some gold, and I've got some bronze powder and stuff, and I actually added some bronze powder into the gold with a bit of catalyst, just because it's going to be cleared, or it was going to be cleared over, and that just made it kind of cover a little bit better. But if I was not clearing over, I probably wouldn't have added that extra kind of gold to it, because then you got less binder to powder, you know, metal powder ratio, if you know what I mean, and then it just wouldn't be as sealed, if that makes sense. I don't know what I'm getting at, but here it made sense. So yeah, so that's it. We'll leave that to dry. I might pop down here tomorrow night after work, recoat the gold, and then hopefully Saturday it'll be ready to do the reds, and then let that dry, and then I'm going to go around and do the black outline and drop shadows, hopefully, once all that's dry. So till tomorrow. I probably won't film the gold recoating, I'll just do it because it's kind of like that, but quicker. And yeah, so hopefully tomorrow, the next day, we'll lay the reds in, and then yeah, let that dry and take it from there. So till tomorrow or the next day. Okay, so as you just seen, I just got some of the kind of the graphite Saral paper, and rubbed it on the back of this so I can transfer it famous and these lines back onto my gold. So the Saral paper is a fairly new thing to me. I know it's been around for a long time, but you know, for years I just used like charcoal or chalk on the back of my tracings if I was going to use a tracing. That's always worked fine. Someone, I think on the YouTube, actually suggested Saral paper, so I thought I'll see if I can get it here in New Zealand, and you can. So I've been trying it on a few little projects here and there. I actually don't think it produces as dark a tracing as chalk or charcoal, depending on the paper that you're using. This is just A4 photocopy paper. If you've got a paper that you're using that's got a little bit more kind of fluff on the back, it holds the you know, graphite or the chalk or charcoal better, and they work better. So this is probably not the best kind of paper for this kind of exercise, but that's my thoughts on it. Anyway, I just got to laying this back over the top so I can reinstate my lines and stuff, my lettering. Hopefully it works. We're just tracing over the top of this, putting a bit of pressure on it, you know, like a little bit of pressure, not trying to drill a hole in the tank, but just try and push that graphite onto my gold base, so I got my lettering back to be able to paint the red on in just a wee bit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's on there. Yeah, there's actually still quite a bit of the white on there, so that's alright. Oh yeah, kind of see it. Alright, spin this around and do it again on the other side. Oh, drop my pencil. Okay, I forgot to mention earlier too that I recoated the gold, like gave it a second coat. It actually flattened down really quite well, quite nicely, quite flat with the first coat. So the second coat was just a bit of a whiz over just to kind of even things up, and I gave the cream a second coat as well. But that's a little bit more ropey. It doesn't flow out the same way. This is, like I said, this is the only alpha enamel I've used, but like it actually laid out quite nice and flat, brushing it on, you know, in bigger panels. It didn't kind of go all kind of ropey, whereas the one shot kind of is, you know, brush strokes don't flow out, but I do find with the one shot it can, which is great for pinstriping, but for lettering it doesn't flow out as smooth as some of the other enamel paints I've used in the past, but coverage is really good. So it's kind of a, you know, if you're doing a one stroke letter, fine, but if you're trying to lay out something where you want to kind of get it to flow out, you probably need some kind of additive. They sell a whole bunch of additives for one shot. Well, they did. It's apparently getting quite hard to get. Can't get it here in New Zealand anymore. There's no agent for one shot in New Zealand, so there is one for Ronin has come on. They used to do one shot, but they obviously can't get it anymore either, so they're doing Ronin lettering enamels, but I have never ever tried those, but keen to try them. So I'm hearing some reasonably good reports from people on, you know, Pinstripers Garage and stuff on Facebook who are using them. Alpha 6, I think there is one person selling alpha enamel here. Again, I haven't tried anything other than that bottle of gold, so I would like to try that stuff one day as well, you know, just see what it's like. But anyway, so I'm going to start brushing the red on here, and then we'll have to let that dry. Okay, so just done the other side and completely had the camera pointing at the wall, so this is actually side 2. So we'll get into it and hopefully got the camera pointing in roughly the right direction this time, but we shall see. Okay, so that's the red on both sides, even though kind of probably only filmed 1 and a bit sides. All that's left to do now is the black outlining and drop shadow stuff, which is going to be the trickiest part. So I'm going to let that all dry off well and truly. Last time I used that red, it actually was a bit slow drying, so I'm wondering if I might take this tank upstairs and chuck it close to some heat, try and get some heat into it and get it to go off quicker. So hopefully I can do the black line work later today, maybe have to be tomorrow though. So, but yeah, so back soon. Fish in the bin. Hey guys, so next day, yep. So final stage on this, well, almost, is to go around and do all the black outline and drop shadowy stuff. And yeah, it's real fine. It's probably finer than anything I've done before. So we'll see how it goes. I'm hoping it'll go alright. I've got my littlest brush out and ready to go. So let's get at it. I might need all my powers of concentration. Definitely gonna need my spectacles for this one. And yeah, let's go. Okay, so that's pretty much it for what I'm going to be doing, but after trying to do that super fine, you know, outline, it could keep getting thicker and thicker and thicker around the little lettering, the and the famous. The James and that was alright. I switched brushes to this, back to this like long-haired chiseled writer rather than the little weenie brush, because that wasn't really getting any benefit from that. And then I went to a pointed writer, which I thought might be alright, and yes, it does get to a nice point, but it's really hard to maintain a consistent point. So I switched back to this chiseled writer, and this is a 0, I think. Yeah, and I was able to kind of get a more consistent, stable, finer line sort of thing. But what I think I'll do now is I'll do the other side. I won't film that, but I'll let the black dry, and I'll go back into the red on the little lettering and just kind of tighten it up a little bit. So yeah, I'll get ahead and do all the black on the other side, and we'll see you there. Three minutes left on this SD card. Make it quick. But one last thing I've got to do on this. I've just been in and kind of went over the lettering on the and the famous, just to kind of tighten it up and square it out a little bit again. But I've got to put like a gold pinstripe around here. The owner of this little motorcycle wants that done. I've got to try and figure out best way to run it, because we've got the fuel cap on this side. It's got like old fuel stains and scratches and stuff in that in this tank. I tried to polish them out, but you know, without, you know, can't go too far, I guess. But yeah, so I just got to figure that out, swap out the SD card, and lay this final gold stripe on here, and then this tank is done. That's it, done. A few wiggly pinstripes around the outside there. I always struggle with pinstriping with the golds, the metallics, because I end up I load up the brush to try and get it to cover. Short runs, it's not bad, but you start getting a bit longer and you know, end up going back into it and then I make it wiggly. But it's alright for who it's for. But yeah, so ultimately, that's that little mamma jamma done. Let that dry off, then I can give it back to my mate. For anyone who's interested, the striping bit there was a Quad Zero Von Dago. That's pretty fine brush, but I really, like I say, I really load it up and go for a kind of a fat line with those metallics. Just, yeah, to kind of try to get it to cover. What else did we use? We used AS Hanover, this little jammer here, 2102. It's like a short-haired chisel. I used that for second coating the red. This Zero, it's a medium to long-haired chisel, Pure Sable, all Pure Sable. I used that, ended up using that for most of the outline and drop shadow and stuff. And then over the last couple of days we used, got fluff on there. Nearly dropped them. We used that number 2 chisel writer as well. So what was that one? That one's a 0 that I used for the outline and stuff. And this one here was a number 5. That's like a sort of short-haired chisel writer as well. I had a couple of other brushes out, tried them on various things, but they weren't doing what I wanted them to do, quite how I wanted them to do. Those pointed writers, it's like I know they're going to be good for something. I haven't figured it out yet. I thought these pointed Sable AS Hanover writers would be good for something. I think maybe more thick and thin, sort of scripty, scrolly type stuff, rather than where I want a consistent width, if that makes sense, where I kind of like laying in, you know, more push down and stuff on there. But yeah, you know what you have no idea what I'm on about. I'm struggling. So I just got to clean all those out all properly, oil them up, put them away. Used one shot red, one shot, what is that? Ivory, Alpha 6, or Alpha Enamel Gold. It's a nice gold, but yeah, it actually laid out nice flat when I was brushing in bigger areas, but I do struggle with coverage. For the black, I just used some Master Enamel by Wattle, which I think is Australian made. It's just a cheaper enamel. I didn't bother using the old one shot on that little bit of black. I figured I'd be able to get it to cover fine-ish, which it did. Yeah, so that's where we're going to leave this video, on the famous James petrol tank. If you haven't subscribed, be awesome. Like, share, comment. It's just another little side project in the DMAC Customs garage, just a little project for a mate. He's putting this bike back together and wants to get it running. It's just like a little 2-stroke thing or something, but very old. And obviously the tank's a bit beat up, but he just wants to get it running and keeping it within that kind of period feel. And he didn't like the stickers, you know, like I said earlier, he didn't like the stickers that he sent away for, and they got sent over from overseas somewhere. But yeah, so as always, thanks for watching, and till next time, take it easy and peace. Not sure what we're doing next. I do have a skate deck to do, so I might do a little midweek video on that or something, because that's going to be a fairly quick one. And then we'll be back on to the Area 51 project. Just so you kind of know, if you're paying attention, you'll see some door handles on here. I put the door catchers in and put the door handles on, just so I can shut the doors and they stay shut, and not swing around and stuff. So anyway, enough jibber jabber. Till next time, take it easy and peace.